Ros, we're seeing more and more countries putting a ban on these Astra shots on account of these developing kind of cases that we see, the adverse reactions that we see with the blood clots.
Yes, that's exactly right, Heidi. And really we've seen from Ireland to northern Italy about a dozen countries, or at least regions, that have put a hold on using the AstraZeneca shots. And these reports about blood clotting, although fairly isolated, have popped up really from Austria to Norway to even Thailand. Now, Astra has come out with its own statement and said 17 million people who've received the shot, and the incidence of clotting is less than for the population at random. So they're sticking to their guns. European medicines regulator has also said there's no issue. But, these vaccines are so new, and the suspicion about the whole vaccination program in some circles, that it just seems to be a huge headache for Astra at a time that it's actually struggling to deliver the number of inoculations to European countries, at least, that it has promised, and at a time when the U.S. has at least a small amount of the vaccines from AstraZeneca that haven't been approved for use in the country, but don't want to give them up to the EU. So it's a tricky and complex situation for the company, that's for sure. And it's slowing down Europe's overall vaccination program.
And quite a contrast to what's happening here in the U.S., right? I mean, it was slow to get started, but we're talking about 100 million doses being administered already. How does it compare what's happening here in the U.S. to Europe? Yes,
it really seems like certainly beginning with the Trump administration and continuing on under Joe Biden, that the program, despite some hiccups, and of course it is really run by each individual state, so some states are doing better than others, but it's picking up steam. And I think approval and distribution of the one-shot Johnson & Johnson vaccine a couple of weeks ago has certainly helped. And in the most recent days, U.S. vaccines are running at almost 2.4 million doses a day. So we heard from Joe Biden late last week. He said that basically he wants all adults who want to have the vaccination to be inoculated by the end of May. And his health advisor, Anthony Fauci, said today that that's probably about 2 months sooner than he would have thought recently. Now, as always, there's some sticking points. Certainly Fauci is worried about new variants and not letting down our guard. He used very football sort of metaphor about the 5-yard line and don't spike the football just yet. And he also talked about the very large proportion of men, Republican-leaning men, who say they will not be vaxxed. And in a survey last week, it was really fully half, of Republican men who said they don't intend to take the vaccine. And in some states, that has a big impact. That the Republican, Trump-leaning states. One thing that Fauci said today is that were former President Donald Trump to come out and really come out strongly for vaccines, which, were developed under his administration, it would be a game changer. So that's what Fauci, who's often clashed with Trump, would like to see happen. Other than that, if you really got enough people who are vaccine hesitant for whatever reason, it could really impede the push to be to have herd immunity. So we did hear from one Republican governor today from Arkansas, the state of Arkansas, and he said he thinks that once vaccines become a reality, once it's not like, will I take the vaccine, but, I did have an appointment next week, he thinks that the opposition will kind of melt away, and that more people will really see the benefit and really want to get back to their normal lives. So at this point, the U.S. seems to be going on pretty strongly.